facing a wall, big brother. Is it as tall as they say? I wanna feel your head bother for another time. You tell me his name, please, Father. Was he like a prom?
Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Today's guest is based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's an incredibly talented alternative rock singer-songwriter and producer who has a new EP out right now called Valley. You need to go check it out. But before we get this episode started, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow me at Parker Whirling and at onthatnote_podcast on Instagram. And on that note, please welcome Colin Bracewell. I'm sitting here with Colin Bracewell, an alternative rock singer-songwriter and producer based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Your newest EP, Valley, is out right now, and got to give the shout-out to our man Bobby Rethwish for telling me about your music. He's an incredible guy. Had him on the podcast probably last year, and a rec from him is always a good sign. So when I checked out Valley, your new EP, I was really excited about it. I love the sounds you get. I love your vocals on every track. And I would love to ask about the writing and recording process behind this EP, and if there was anything different about your approach compared to some of your previous releases.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So the whole writing process, I mean, literally one of the songs had been written for like almost 3 years, which is so crazy. So I guess the final, version of the EP, it was written in about the beginning of like May. That's when it was kind of finalized. But there were 2 songs that are on the EP, both In the Valley and The Cage, and those were written like 2 weeks before that kind of deadline. Like it was so weird. I was like, okay, I had these like 5 songs picked out and I was feeling good about them, and then I was just like, let's just like challenge myself to like just write 5 new songs, just like in a week. And so I did that, and crazy enough, 2 of those 5 songs actually made it onto the EP. And then, I'd already made demos for the other 3 like so many times. And then once kind of the beginning of June hit, I just, kind of hit the produce, button or whatever. And we produced the EP in about 6 weeks. That was kind of the process.
That's wild that you wrote 2 new songs and like they fit well with songs that were from 3 years ago. Why do you feel like they fit well versus maybe some of the other 3 that didn't quite make that cut?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of searching for a concept for the album. And I was kind of toying with, the whole idea of like, what is the pattern, or what is, the main moral of the story or whatever. And I kind of touched on it, within the, I don't know, I made like a 1 sheet and talked about it. But, so my big story is that I was born in Ontario, Canada, and then I lived in Fresno, California for about 8 years. And so that's in the San Joaquin Valley, and then I went to Minneapolis, and then I've been here for school and stuff like that. And so I visit Fresno, probably once every 3 years, once every 4 years, whenever I get the chance. And so I went back this past summer in like May, and it was like, it was cool. Like I got to see all my friends and stuff, but it was crazy. Like the stuff that I guess when you're in the moment, or like when you're younger, like there's certain like social cues and stuff that like you don't quite pick up when you're young, but then when you are like older, you like kind of see how people like truly are, and kind of how like the vibe is of a city. And so I picked that up. Like the last time I was there I was like 15 or 16, and I'm 20 now. And so when I got there, I was like, whoa, like this is nuts. Like how did I even I don't know, how did I even survive here? It was just like some of my friends were just like not the people that I thought they were, and just like, I don't know, different, but like it's crazy because the people that are in Fresno, like the people that have stayed at least have kind of just like stayed in that same groove. And it's just funny because the people that I knew when I was younger, like they're still the same and I'm this completely different person. And so it's just kind of weird to pick up on that now that I'm older. And so yeah, I guess the concept was kind of based off that and kind of tying into like Let Me In and stuff like that. It was based off of those relationships, and how they kind of grew to become this thing that I was completely shook by. Like something so personal was kind of turned completely upside down, and so it was kind of those themes and other stuff, but yeah.
Whoa, that's so much to dissect.
Yeah, it's a lot, sorry.
No, I love it. I mean, that's why I like talking about the stuff on the show is, to talk about things that are bigger than just the music and how your life plays into these things. And it is wild to think about coming back home, I mean, I don't know if you call it home or what you call home, but going back to that place where you had a lot of formative years and having probably changed so much between 15 and 20. I mean, that's a huge gap. And
yeah, I mean, you get a car, there's so
yeah,
many things, yeah.
You learn so much about yourself, and just the fact of making that move and having to be a different person in a different situation. I mean, not a different person in a bad way, but just rediscovering parts of yourself. And then going back to that, it's almost like a mirror looking at you of like, oh, whoa, I am different. Like I've changed, and hopefully for the better.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
It sounds like it was. And yeah, like it is weird when I lived in LA for 6 years, and I mean, I came back pretty frequently back to Atlanta. But by the time I moved back, which was maybe 6 months ago, I do feel different here now because I just changed so much within that, year. I was 18 years old and now I'm 24. So that's also a big gap there. And that gives a lot of feelings to write about. But it also is not something you can just sit down and immediately flesh it out. It's like too much to really process all in a day. And that kind of makes sense why maybe 3 years some of these songs had to ferment and really sit with you for a while.
Yeah, you're so right. I think the biggest thing with living in those two things is just it's so important to have different live in different places because there's just so many different perspectives, and when you're raised with one perspective, it's really shocking when you find something completely different, so I firmly, strongly believe that people I don't know if they can afford it, but every 5 years, try and move somewhere else, try to go to school here or and not so much trips, but really be in that culture, because I was, like I said, I was shocked, and not in a bad way, but it was more just this is what I had this perspective and now I feel like I vibe more with, the kind of Minnesota, perspective on a lot of things, there's certain things, I agree with this and that or whatever, but just meeting people, and just meeting those, perspectives and being open to it. 'Cause it's just it's interesting and it's important.
How do you feel like you've changed musically and personally since, your move to Minneapolis, 5 years ago?
Yeah, so it was actually, I moved when I was 13.
Okay.
But the last time my grandpa passed away when I was 15, so I went back to, visit him or, say goodbye or whatever. and so I was 13, and when I first moved here, I it was so funny because I did like theater and everything when I was, a kid or whatever, and so
Same.
I
I
thought
did
that was
too.
my thing. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I did like The Sound of Music like 4 different times. Like I was
Yeah.
I was like all the dude roles, and like I did, like so much. So that was my thing, and that's what I thought I was gonna do. And then right when I moved to Minnesota, I got into, I like, met some friends, and then we decided to do like a cover band, a rock cover band. So I think the first song I learned was Use Somebody by Kings of Leon.
Nice.
Yeah. So I started on that when I was in 7th grade, and then I kind of went through a lot of, bands, and I think I was in a total of four bands. Before I ended up doing, starting my sophomore to junior year, kind of doing my solo stuff. And then really starting senior year of high school, I was like, I think I really want to do this. And I still was doing, acting and stuff on the side with school, but it wasn't the forefront anymore. And so I went to the University of Minnesota, and that's where I met way more people too, like the big music scene, including Bobby.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what sparked, me being able to meet other people, write with other people. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, now with this EP out, I've been able to focus on like collaborations way more. And so I got some stuff coming out in November and December that I'm so happy worked out, because I'm actually abroad right now. I'm in Vienna, Austria, and I'm
Right
studying. Yeah, right now.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I should have told you.
No,
but
it's cool.
But yeah, so I'm studying abroad for like the next 5 months or semester or whatever, and so that's all squared away or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of the journey, and like I started on violin when I was 4, and then I did saxophone when I was in high school. I did the whole jazz thing, and then I picked up guitar sophomore year of high school. But yeah.
Gotcha. So it makes sense. You're in Austria right now. You literally just said every 5 years you should move somewhere. So now you're getting an even different experience.
Dude, it's insane. Like they do not care about like America as much as I thought they, would. Like it's just like no one, like, I mean, there's some people that speak English, but for the most part, like they just go for German, and you like have to figure it out. And like that's so exciting. Like I want to do that. Like that's partly why I'm here. But it's just so cool that like it's such a bigger world, and more perspectives and all that stuff. And it's just so cool. Like I'm so grateful that I'm here.
That's amazing. I can't wait to hear more about how that plays out over the next
Thanks,
5
man.
months.
Thanks.
So one thing that really attracted me to your music is something that I always have like a soft spot for, which is you write, record, and produce all of your music. And I think that that's very cool because you have to wear a lot of hats at once. So to you, what are some of the challenges and the rewards of doing all of those things?
Yeah, so challenges, and one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do now more often is lack of collaboration. I think collaboration is super important, especially now. I mean, on this project, this guy, his name's Thomas Abond. He helped me produce it, and that was, I mean, I'd done stuff before, and You're Fine. I produced that, and he really helped me kind of challenge me to, really hone in on a sound. And like, with singles, like it's hard because like, you have this vision of this one song, and then it's hard to like find a consistency, and so it was super nice to finally settle in on like one cohesive sound. Like it's not like the whole EP sounds the same, each track is very unique on its own, but this is like the first time I've made a project that I feel like 100%, like it's all cohesive and it all makes sense. So yeah, I think collaboration is important, and it's challenging to do that when you write all on your own. and record all on your own and produce. But and then I guess I'd say the benefits is like, you know, cost. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then also, dude, I mean, I was in like the rock band cover band thing for like 4 years pretty consistently without doing like any solo stuff, and it was so hard to get anything done because you'd have to ask people, you know, oh, what do you think about that, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I like, this is like, what you're doing is cool, but like, this is what I'm doing, and I feel really confident in this, so don't like, I don't know, it's just hard to get approval from someone. Like, I hate that. I hate that. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do it myself, and that's kind of what started the whole solo thing. And yeah, I don't know, that's how, you know, that works.
Yeah, I mean, that ties back into what you said about collaboration. Like, it sucks you don't get to collaborate with people, but the plus side is you don't have to collaborate with people.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, being reliant on anyone is so stressful. You know, it's so stressful because obviously you're going to be the one that's your number one priority. You know, you're going to be the one that cares the most, or at least you should care the most about your craft, you know? So you don't want someone to, you know, wait on, because it's like they have other things going on. They have probably their own main project that they're focusing on, you know? So it's so much easier. And it also, you know, it makes me feel pretty proud of myself when I'm able to say, this is mine, you know? Like I did this. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the responsibilities are on you, but all of the...
That's true. All the rewards, I guess.
The rewards,
yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, at the same time, it is interesting because even if you're not collaborating directly with people, like I know you've done music videos, and those, like, you are having other people help you with things. So even if it's small things, like other people are along for the ride. It's just not everyone has to be somebody that you're like, you constantly have to get their approval, or, you know, if you do have a collaborative partner, you want to make sure that your visions are totally aligned, not just musically, but like personally and like just personality wise. Because if you're with somebody who makes great music, but it's like kind of a slog to be around them, it's like, is that really worth it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's not. Yeah, it's like it can just drain you, and you don't want to waste that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is your favorite part of the creation process, since you do all of these things?
Yeah, I'd say just like the trying new things process. I mean, I love writing, and I'm so excited. I mean, that's a part of my trip here, is to write like so much, because like the past like 6 months have just been like I played at the 7th Street Entry, which is like First Ave's like venue. I don't know if you've ever been to Minnesota or anything.
I haven't. I need to check it out.
Dude, it's a good time. But so First Ave is kind of the main venue of Minnesota. And so I did like an EP release show July 29th. And it was kind of a local release. So it was... So I gave everyone like free digital download cards that came to the show, and they could buy CDs. And they got to hear the EP before it came out September 10th. That was kind of what I wanted to do. I don't know. I thought I'd, you know, make it unique and stuff. And it actually worked out pretty well. People were super into it. But it was like the 2 months up to that show were just like promoting, and then also working on my EP, you know, and it was just like, I had no time to like, except for that 5, you know, that week of 5 songs, you know, but it wasn't like as free as, you know, I had like a job to do. Like this was like the thing that I had to do in this week. And so I'm super pumped to like just start writing again, like, and just have the ideas flow again, and not have the stress of promoting and even promoting this EP, you know, I mean, that's still going. But yeah, I love writing, but I also love just trying new things when I produce, and just like, I think one of the songs off the EP, actually one of the songs that didn't even make the EP, I think I had 9 demos which to me was a lot, and just like trying, and they sounded completely different. And so that was super exciting to me, but eventually I had to go, like I got to release this, but I love those parts of the process.
Yeah, finding new things to try out. It's like, especially, demos, like that can be great to try and see how you can change this song. But the unfortunate thing is you can go down that rabbit hole and like be like, what was even the point of this? Like, I like the first one the best,
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. And that's why you have to just like make, at least for me, I have to make just a completely new project. I can't just like focus on one project and be like, oh, I want it to still sound like this or try to manipulate it. I have to be kind of like not as attached to it, It's because it's like, it's a demo, it's not the final thing. Like this is just a part of the process. Yeah.
So I mentioned music videos earlier, and I wanted to ask you about the Why music video because, one, it's a great music video. Anybody listening to this should go check it out. The production on that song is nuts. The production of the video is nuts. And I went back and watched your I'm Fine music video, and it seems like something changed, something clicked. Like you learned a lot from that first one that really went into Why, because I just feel like, the I'm Fine is great, but I feel like you stepped it up a little bit with the Why video. So I'm curious, what happened? What experience did you gain and knowledge did you gain from doing that first music video that made the second video what it is?
Absolutely. So I've done I think a total of 4 before You're Fine. I did other videos with other people and stuff like that, and those were with other releases that aren't out anymore. But so that song You're Fine and that music video, that was just with a friend. He does his main thing is actually R&B and hip hop, production, and now he's doing way more music videos. And his name's Stanley Jizwiak. And he's super great and a super nice dude. And we only had like 2 weeks to do the video. We had one day to shoot it, and we were just like, okay, let's go for it. And so I kind of just like let him take the lead, and that's what we came up with. And that's kind of how I was used to doing music videos, just kind of like one person on the camera and me, and we just kind of come up with ideas just as we go. But with Why, one of my friends, his name's, he goes by A.T. Etzweiler, and I actually met him in middle school. And so we were in middle school together and everything, and then he went off to LA to finish off high school and then go for film school. And he was like, yo, like I love like what you're doing. Like I totally had no idea that like you were making music and stuff like that. Like let me know if you're ever out in LA. And I was like, bet. So I hit him up. I said, hey, yo, I'm gonna be there in a month. Let's make something happen. And so he sent me like this big, I totally forget what it's called. It's like a common name, but it's this PDF of just kind of his ideas and the storyline and the pictures and everything of just like
a mood board.
Yeah, kind of. It's called something else. I forget what it's called. But it was like super professional and everything. I was like, damn, okay, like here we go.
Yeah. That's the best feeling when somebody takes your shit so seriously that they like prepare something like that.
And like honestly, like it's what I like have wanted for so long too. Just because like okay, so I guess starting off, like so I got there and I met the team. So there were like 8 people.
Wow.
Like doing this music video. We had one guy, and his one job was just kind of balancing the light. So he had that like big board, and he would like take light and absorb it, stuff like that. And it was insane. So like Andrew, who directed it, he had all of his ideas kind of already in place, and then we had a producer that like kept us on schedule. And then we had a videographer, and he had this amazing setup, and It took us 3 days to shoot it, and it was just unreal. I mean, I was gonna touch on something else too, but I totally forgot what it was. I don't know if you can remind me, but
yeah, I don't know, but
yeah, no, you're
I've
good.
had a very similar experience very recently with having like a set. Like I have a music video coming out in a couple weeks, and it was the first time I did a music video with like there was like 13 people on set, and half of them were my friends, but the other half I met the day of. And it was like such a wild experience because the same thing, like what you were talking about when they're holding the light balance thing, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
And like big ass lights, like they're like setting up shit. They got the monitor, they got a director's chair for my friend. Like it was sick. And like you feel like, wow, like this is real. And it puts you in such a headspace of like, let's get this shit done.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. So it's something that I've always wanted to do, and like kind of like the vibe that I've always like needed as an artist, because I did theater when I was younger, when I started when I was like 5, and like I'm so into performance, and even when I perform, like like visuals and everything are so important, and I'm trying more to do that. So it was so cool to finally be able to do that kind of acting that I've always wanted. And it feels a little weird. That was my first time doing that for a music video, not just like standing around and mouthing words, but like actually like kind of moving around and like almost doing like choreography, and even like, I mean, it was just so perfect. It was so cool to finally be able to combine both lives, I guess, because it's always been like, I do music, and then this is theater, and then it was just so cool to finally have the privilege and just being like comfortable, to like be able to do this, and everyone's just like this is and they were like, oh, you're great, like each one of them came up to me individually, and they're like, yo, like if you're ever back out here, like I'd love to like work with you, and it was just like, it felt so good to be like, I guess, thanked for like your work, after so long of just doing your own thing. And also like I'm super grateful for like them like having me out there, and that like they're all students there, and they all are so busy, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity. But it was just like, it was so nice that everyone was on board and everyone was feeling good. And actually I went back out there in August, right after I did my show at the Entry, and I filmed another 5 live sessions for the 5 songs off the EP, and those are gonna come out pretty soon. But yeah, just such a cool experience, and I'm super excited to work with him and them again.
Yeah, I'm stoked to hear those live sessions. But I had a couple things that popped into my head as you were talking about that. One being that it's insane that you can, like, I know exactly that feeling you were talking about when everyone is like thanking you for like, oh man, great song, like I'm glad I could work on this, and like to you, you're like, I'm glad you're here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
and
like,
it's like
this is not my thing. Like this, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just such a feeling of gratitude, and the fact that people want to be there is amazing. And I think that goes back to what we started off this interview with, being like when you went back to Fresno and realizing like the vibes of the people you used to hang around, and see that like, whoa, this isn't clicking the way it used to. And then like that's a shitty feeling, or it can be. But then when you see the people that you're like, wow, it's so effortless being around them, and it's so fun creating with them, it just puts things in perspective, and it makes me want to only hang around people that lift me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing I was thinking was that it's not easy to, one, do all that kind of like emotional choreography and things like that for a song that is very emotional and like deep to what are things that you've experienced, and do all that in front of like 8 people and have them play the song over and over and over again for them. And it's just like a very self-conscious thing, but you certainly tapped into that theater side of you and like just pulled it off.
For sure, man. Thank you.
Of course. What would be some of your advice to an artist who is nervous about doing something like that? You know, maybe a little self-conscious about maybe not performing, but being on like a set, and they have to delve into that kind of deeper emotional side of them in front of other people.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think if you're into it, everyone else will be into it. I think that that's something that people really struggle with. I think they're always like, oh, you know, like, I mean, like there's so many people that are just like, they're here, but then they're kind of like, oh, you know, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm like almost too cool kind of thing. And it really just kills the vibe. Cause then it makes other people be like, oh, well, if this guy's not into it, then I guess I can also like not care, you know? And so if you're professional, but like also nice, you know, like if you're not nice, like no one's going to work with you.
No.
And it's such a small world too, dude. Like even cause I'm studying abroad, like there's other universities that like bring people over here, and literally this one dude that I met here, he's in the same, he goes to the same school as one of my like good friends from high school. And he was like, yo, like what's good? Like, oh, I'm like, so it's just such a small world. Like how does this guy that I went to, I mean, my graduating class was like 75 people, you know? How does this dude know like one of my closest friends, you know? So it's just like, one thing is like, don't be afraid to like, just go for it, but also like be nice, be professional. And yeah, if you take this thing seriously, people will take you seriously, and that is the best way to move forward.
That's a great place to end our first half of the interview. I think those are great words of advice right there.
Thanks, man.
So the next part is the last 5, where I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions, and we'll be done.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Number 1, Logic or Ableton?
Logic.
Okay. Yeah. Is that what you've always used?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, obviously GarageBand.
Right. Yeah. You make the step up. The graduation.
Then I made the $100 step up. But yeah, I've never pursued Ableton. I've seen other people and producers use it. But yeah, I've never used it.
That $100 step up is a lot easier than making that $750 step up for Ableton.
Oh, really? $750?
It's expensive. I'm pretty sure it's $750, $700 for like not even the one that's the top tier. It's like that's like the good one. The entry one is like $100, and you can only have 8 total tracks.
Bro, I'm sorry. Like, for anyone who's like thinking, like get Logic. I mean, it's so easy, especially like to produce. Like, I don't know how it is to record live. Like if you want to record like a live kit, like I heard that that's really hard to do. But just to produce and make music like without like being totally lost, Logic is so easy. I mean,
it's user friendly.
Yeah, it's user friendly, and like it's just like, I mean, obviously start on GarageBand. You know, I'd say that that's the first thing. It's free, you know, and you can do so much with that. But if you're like, once you feel good about that, then yeah, go over to Logic. If you feel like you're struggling with GarageBand and you're like, you know, limited, go to Logic, obviously. But yeah, that's been so helpful, and it's also really visual too. Like I love the little icons and stuff. But
totally.
Yeah.
Question number 2 is, what do you think is a perfect album front to back?
Oh, geez. Perfect album front to back. Okay, I'm gonna say 2. I like the okay. This is kind of, I don't know if you're gonna cringe for this, but I love the Blue album.
By Weezer.
You know, Weezer.
Yeah.
I love every track. I also, I I mean, For Emma is kind of a classic.
What is?
You know Bon Iver?
Oh, For Emma, Forever Ago.
Yeah. Sorry. So I'd probably say that one too.
Yeah, I thought I could hear some Bon Iver influence in some of your songs for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I'm a
subtle.
big fan.
No, those are both great answers. For Emma Forever Go, I think I've only listened to the entirety of once. I really like, what's it called? 22 a Million. That one to me
Yeah.
like blew my mind.
Yeah, I mean that one. It's odd because like when it first came out, I think it came out in like what 2016, something like
2016,
that.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 2016. My cousin, she was like a fan of Bon Iver. Like before I even knew I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. And she was like, yeah, I like this album's awful. Like he's getting like terrible reviews and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll take your word for it. Like sounds good. And then I listened to it and I was like, what? Like I love this. You know, like it might be like a little bit more experimental for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but like I could easily listen to that in its entirety, like over and over again, and I have, you know. So yeah, that's funny.
I love when albums are like controversial among the fan base because it just shows like the ambition and the kind of like not giving a fuck of the artist that they're gonna try something different. If everyone agrees it sucks, that's like kind of lame. But if half the like fan base is really into it and half the fan base is over it, I think usually that means it's gonna be considered really good in like 5 to 10 years because it needs time for people to like adjust to it, adjust their expectations because they, you know, what was the one with I guess Bon Iver is the self-titled one, right? The second one.
I love that one too.
Yeah,
like,
that's
so
a great
much.
one.
Yeah.
But that one wasn't as much of a change from Forever.
You're right.
Forever Ago, and
Yeah.
then to go to 22 a Million. It's like
yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah. Well, how do you? I mean, what's your thought on Kanye? I mean, what is your thought on the Donda? You know,
Dude,
how
that's
was that?
so funny because I've talked about Donda probably the last 3 or 4 times of the like last 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it by now. But I love talking about it because I love Donda. I'm gonna be real.
Really? Okay.
I
like the first half. I think. I mean,
Okay.
like, I don't know. Like, it's hard because I hate him as a person.
He's very hard to like.
Yeah. And so it's just hard because, you know, with the whole like the baby thing, and like, it's just, I just don't know how necessary his verse, you know, his feature was on that. You know, I thought it would be like the reason why I kept it on was, you know, he was going to say something, you know, important, like, you know, and like something that would like change what he said, you know, like something that would kind of make up for that. And it just like it was just like, I don't know. I didn't see the point. And I think it's really frustrating because there's this whole community of people that got hurt by that. And now, you know, Kanye in a sense supports that, you know, and I love it. I mean, I love like the samples and everything. And, I just personally, like, I could have just listened to the first half and been like, oh yeah, this is dope. But I just don't see the point in repeating everything again.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. I actually never listened to the one with the baby because it's like 4 bonus tracks at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I don't really feel the need to if it's the bonus track and it's like featuring a guy who kind of sucks. So I'm like, so I just don't listen to it. I just listen to the whole, you know, first half or the first album before it goes to the bonus tracks. But I mean, man, the second half got some great songs. It's got "Come to Life," which like makes me tear up. That song's amazing. New Again, 24 might be on the first half. But anyway, I agree, and it is a very controversial thing, and it just sucks. Like, it's one thing to be controversial, but I feel like he is being controversial just for like the sake of it, and there's no real context behind it, like to support people that are just like shitbags and like not good people. and not have like some message of redemption or something behind it. It just kind of feels like I'm just questioning like what was the point of it.
Yeah, I got, and even like the Marilyn Manson thing.
Exactly. I'm like, why
it's just
was he even there?
bro, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, on to question number 3. Who is your dream artist or producer to work with?
Dude, honestly, Justin Vernon, I'd love to work with him on something. Whatever he wants to do, I'm down. I'd say that. I mean, I really like Lauv. I mean, that would be another venture, or like Jeremy Zucker, something like that. That's kind of going into more pop, but they both seem pretty down to earth. Like I feel like I would have a hard time working with like Charlie Puth, because he just thinks he's whatever, and I just I like the people that are still normal, and but I think Justin Vernon would be number one for
Take
sure.
That, Charlie Puth.
Yeah, no, he's great. I'd love to meet him someday for sure. But Justin only lives like an hour and a half from me.
Oh, whoa.
Because he's from Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And Stillwater at least is where I live. It's like an hour and a half. So it could happen. Hopefully.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
One guy I thought that would be really interesting would be James Blake.
Yeah, dude. So many people have told me that, and I was like, okay, because I never really quite listened to him, and so I finally and I don't know if I think he had like an album or something that's about to come out, or has come out, or something like that.
I think it's about to come out.
Okay, so I'm excited to listen to that, just because I mean you're the fourth person to tell me that, and there was another review for the show, and someone said that they're like, oh yeah, he has like a James Blake kind of vibe, and I was like,
interesting,
cool, yeah.
To me your stuff is like James Blake meets Bon Iver, because you have like I feel like your voice reminds me of more of James Blake, and you have a lot of electronic elements, but then you incorporate more like acoustic instruments the way Bon Iver will do.
Dope. Yeah, sweet.
But yeah,
thanks.
I would definitely recommend getting into more James Blake. I don't know if you've listened to the first 2 albums, but those 2 classics. I'm not like in love with Assume Form, which everyone loves. That one got huge, and I didn't really like fall in love with it, but you might like it. So that one is the more popular one. But I mean, the first 2 are pretty popular. But then he put out an EP last year that was one of my like most listened to pieces of music, called Before, and it's more like, it's really dancey. It's more dance music than anything he's done before, and I don't know if that's kind of what you're into, but it personally was like my favorite thing that he's done since like his first 2 albums. But yeah, definitely give the whole thing an exploration. It's worth it.
Sweet, sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah. Question number 4 is, what's on your musical rotation right now?
Dude, honestly, like the past week has been kind of insane. Because I got here Friday, and my sleep schedule was all messed up and everything. And I'm meeting people and stuff like that. So I honestly haven't been able to listen to like any music. I guess on the plane ride here, what did I listen to? I listened to Biggie.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had never done that. One of my big things coming here and doing this trip is like, I'm not going to listen to the stuff that I normally listen to, kind of like the alternative, pop kind of thing. And so I listened to, I got to figure out what it was called. What was it called? Oh, I also listened to Iron and Wine. I don't know if you know them.
I know that name.
Yeah. So they're a band, and they sound really good. Ready to Die. That's what I listened to, that album.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, just starting. It's starting to just like kind of delve into that. Yeah.
I'm pretty uneducated with most 90s rap. I don't know why. I just never really got too into it. I like Illmatic by Nas because it's a classic. But other than that, there's not a lot of 90s rap that I like can talk about, and I feel like it's something I need to do at some point.
Exactly, dude. I mean, start it now. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll start a little weekly, like,
let's do it
record
together.
club. Yeah, there you go. All right, the last question here before we go is, what is your favorite decade of music?
Oh, man. I think it's kind of classic or whatever, but I'd say the 90s. One of my biggest influences was Jeff Buckley. And
I wrote in here that your song In the Valley gives me modern Jeff Buckley vibes.
Yeah, dope. I'll take it. That sounds great. Obviously, like, not like what he ended up becoming, but just kind of the legacy that he left, and I just so much emotion, even in like not even words, like not even what he says, but like the sounds that he makes. Huge influence. You know, you got all that. I mean, I literally I went to the Hell Omega tour. And so I'm a big fan of Weezer, obviously, and so I saw
Weezer.
that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what that is, but
oh, sorry, it was the three big bands. It was Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so that was cool, and you know, I've seen Green Day like 3 times. And, I love that. It's such a vibe.
Yeah, Weezer, I've seen 2 separate times, and they killed it. I don't listen to them that much anymore. That was like really high school for me. But those, the 2 shows we saw were awesome.
I saw them when they came out with the White album, and I love that album. You're right. Like, that was high school. You're right. They put on a good show too. But yeah.
Well, they're classic. It's like, people make fun of them, but the Blue Album is like undeniably a classic album.
Yeah, like you can listen. Yeah, I mean, there's no bad. I mean, they've put out a lot of music, you know, but that first album is just so good. And honestly, like, if you haven't listened to the White Album, I think that's my second favorite.
Wow.
And it was
I haven't.
you should totally check it out. And I think Dan Wilson helped write it, and he's from Minneapolis, and he was in Semisonic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's cool because it was like new when I was in high school, and so it's got that, like, you know, little sentimental thing. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, Colin Bracewell, thank you for joining me for an episode of On That Note. It's been great getting to talk with you about your new EP Valley, which everybody needs to go check out. It's got some amazing songs in there, great production, all done by you, which is extra cool. And I love that you're in Austria right now, going on a completely new adventure. I wish you luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, dude. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good, man. See ya.
You said you're moving.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.